Hi, you guys. We'll give it a second to see if the connection can stabilize. We had a bit of, I think, too much signal being used here. My son was on the iPad. My husband's on the computer wirelessly upstairs, and clearly that's just too much. And my internet was like, that's too much. So we shall see if this helps stabilize things up a bit, as well as shutting down the computer, which normally we don't have to do. So we'll give it a second, and I'm going to close those things. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we were talking about Laura's reading. So we've got the Nine of Pentacles being at a success point, being at a point where you are successful, you have completed the tasks that are necessary to understand the material world, you're in a place of comfort in your garden and in doing things that you enjoy and love. You've given up or released the warrior aspect, the need to be in constant stoic guardianship, overlooking the borders, the boundaries, and the light to be able to protect the village, right? You're releasing that warrior on guard. And you're also releasing the part, this page of Pentacles, she's one who is a young, once this was you, a young gifted woman with the full light of awareness and knowledge, with all that she needed as a foundation in the physical world in order to create her work. She had the ancient knowledge and guardianship and protection of the dragons, the wisdom of the owl, the tree symbolizing that nurtured and grown over time and culture foundation of tradition and value as well. All of these aspects were there, a part of it. And now, you're releasing that youthful aspect of it. You're stepping more into the next phase, which is that queenship of it. And the shadows that you're working on right now, which is whenever I do an actual pull like this, I try to do a shadow card, which is the last card on the deck after you've cut off and pulled out your reading. And that's the Wheel of Fortune for you. So right now you're just pulling the loose ends together, looking for what are the threads that are frayed on the edges, and is there anything left for you to look for, to weave, any more stories to find in those fibers. Okay, so now we'll come back over here. Yeah, and I didn't have any other card request pulls that I know of, so it'll really kind of have to just, we'll just see where we go with that. So what I wanted to talk about today, and of course we already started talking by me sharing a little bit of my journey this morning, and also I'm going to just throw out there now, I do not actually have timekeeping, because that's what I use my computer for, and I'm turning it off to try and reduce the network's usage right now. My husband works from home. He works for Intel, and so when he's working, it takes a lot. Sure, Amanda, I can do one more card pull. Let's see. The goddesses want to talk to you. They haven't come out for a little while. And I'm curious how you guys are. Oh, good afternoon, Yvette. Thank you. Yvette or Yvette? Yvette? I don't know. I've heard it pronounced both ways. Let's see. Hello, Amanda. So, yeah, when we're going to do sacred journeys or have sessions, or when we have clients who have sessions, when we have that going on and they're struggling like that, it's so important for us to hold this allowance as well for them, recognizing that's what's going on. Okay, so one of the aspects of the goddess cards is they have 3 cards that they use for confirmation and negation, and I forget what the other one is. And so we just got the confirmation one. This is confirmation about what we've been talking about, what's going on. And also Amanda I'm hearing that you have a question that you've been asking, this kind of yes or no question that you've been wondering about, do I or don't I? And you're getting the confirmation on what you think you already know, right? Like, what's that instinctual? What's that first response? Which one makes you feel excited? Which one engages you? Which one makes you feel smaller or like a must choice or I have no choice? That is showing you old beliefs and filters that are ready to be addressed and broken. I'm sensing to get one more card pulled. Here we go. And we have Baba Yaga. A perfect for what we were just doing, talking about earlier. Fearlessness is what Baba Yaga teaches us. Baba Yaga is from, I believe, the Ukraine or one of those Slavic countries. And she's the old grandmother who fearlessly goes about in her cauldron, not because this is like a big, bad, evil cauldron, but because this is her medicine, right? She can counter and react to the creation with what she creates within her cauldron. So it's that knowing that you can handle anything you need. And within her cauldron, within her, as she travels, she has everything that she needs with her to meet whatever foe it is that comes as crows pass my window. So it's time for us all to bring that fearlessness, that awareness. And, even in that sweat, I had this panicked fear. And afterward, when I was talking with him about it, he said, yeah, we get that fear in there because, it's the body saying, I can't. And the spirit has to pray. You have to pray through the I can't. Praying can look like anything. Ultimately, what you're doing when you're praying is you're grounding yourself in this moment, coming present, connecting into source, right? That's what it is. Kathy, I'm going to put you on the top for tomorrow for a poll because what I wanted to talk about today is I feel like it's really relevant and in relationship to all of this. When we get stuck in this concept of protection, right? When we think about ourselves as being vulnerable or unsafe, or the moment that we start to think, if the external were different, I would be better in any way. It's a moment of opportunity for us. And I wanted to throw out there a bit about like what's actually happening when that goes on. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk more about this, but from a different perspective. Today, I want to talk about when we come into that awareness. When we come into that awareness of I am in fear in this moment, what do we actually do? How do we process that? How do we move forward with that awareness without it crippling us, without it blocking us or preventing us from being who we want to be in that authentic state, in that space, in that time? So I wanted to talk about, I brought this up earlier with the fractured pieces, the parts of ourselves. When we see that the external is engaging us, what's actually happening is the external is bringing us a vessel or an opportunity. So it's either a person or a situation of people, usually, where these things are interacting with us. And they actually are serving as almost like a open vessel. They're, when we, in movies, when they're casting a part for any sort of theatrical performance, it's not just is the actor good, because what is good, right? But it's also, can we believe that the actor is that part, is that role? And for instance, I don't know if you guys ever saw Revenge of the Nerds, but Booger, he'd never be cast in a leading man romantic role part, right? He would never, it just wouldn't happen unless it's his own movie, right? Because we have an idea that's formed as soon as we see that person. And it's because they hold this vibration because that's their life path, their lesson path. And there are others that hold that. So the creation's going to pick these vessels that hold the vibration already. So yeah, they're going to be triggering you, creating issues for you or challenges for you in reality. It's not like you're imagining it or you're just creating an illusion or your response is illogical or a part of your belief mechanism. It is, but we'll get back to that. So the external is bringing this like puppet in, this typecasted puppet that's the perfect role to hold that frequency of you that you've rejected. So if, when I brought up Booger from Revenge of the Nerds, it made you feel like, ugh, or it made you feel like, oh my God, that guy's so awful, or have some sort of response, then that's an energy frequency that you have decided if it were within you, you couldn't possibly be that guy. You couldn't possibly be that way. You couldn't be that dumb. You couldn't be that gross. You couldn't be that unmannered. You couldn't be whatever it may be, right? If it bothers you, I had a roommate that used to fart on me. He would pin me down and fart on me. And for me, like, the idea of farting in public was horrifying. It literally would give me nightmares. I actually one time had to go up to the stage and this tiny fart escaped and I was horrified, right? So for me, that was horrifying. So what did I summon to myself? A roommate that's going to fart on me until I did it back to him, until I like pinned him down and farted on him and let myself be empowered in that. So that's the point, right? We've got to bring that stuff in, even the parts that we reject, that we would think we were ridiculous to have, that we would feel like we can't possibly embody. We've got to bring it inside of us. And that's what this whole week is going to be about, is bringing in these parts of ourselves that we see that we have externalized and rejected and cut off. Because that's what demons are, right? That's what they are, guys. They are other people, a collection, like a great big wad of the darkness of other people that they reject, of themselves. These pieces, they keep cutting them out and putting them out there. And sometimes this is one of the reasons that I tend to not work with any healers that are purely light focused, that don't recognize the importance of shadow work, that don't recognize the importance of embracing this darkness, and that are hyper focused on protection orientation. I don't really have much room for them. I don't have much room for that energy. It doesn't excite me. I already have learned those lessons, that the polarity is the beauty, is the necessity, okay? It's so important. And this is one of the ways that I try to illustrate it for people. Look around you right now in this space that's around you, whatever it may be. I just want you to look around your room. And now try to imagine if you took all the black out, all of it, wherever there's any black at all. Imagine that that was not black, that there was nothing there. You removed it. Can you see the depth? Can you tell how far anything is from you? Can you see where one thing ends and the next thing begins at any point? No, you need it. You need that in the creation. You need the darkness. You need the contrast. You need that to be marbled through every bit of your life. So when we reject it, we force other people to have to deal with it. We force other people to have to hold for us our rejected judgment of ourselves. And that's why we get angry with other people. That's it. That's the whole root right there. So we have to look at the parts that we define as separate, the parts that we say, this is where I stop, this is where you begin, and see that that's the problem. This hand, this wall, this barrier between them and you. So yesterday, that was kind of what I brought up, and today we're going to do the meditation on it. I have no concept of time, you guys, so I don't know if this will be long or if it'll be short. We're just going to drop into it and see where it takes us, but we're going to work on this, okay? And I hope that some of you took me up on my offer of last night to take some time to work on this on your own a little bit, so you're not going in cold. And if you brought anything up during that, hey, this is the perfect time to complete or pull it up even more deeply. Oh, hey, Dan. have to have some smiling coffee before that one. One more sip. All right. I'm going to bring my candle a little bit closer. Flame really helps to support me when I'm doing this kind of work. And I don't bring stones consciously, you guys, very often into what we're doing. But, you know, for instance, there's a quartz agate that supports my phone while we're talking, while we're doing this. There's stuff all around me. But today what we're going to work with, this is my selenite wand. This selenite wand is imbued. Stones, they're created in the creation over so long in conditions of such intensity. What they hold is a vibrational frequency, and we're not actually powerful enough to change that. That's one of the reasons we love stones. They change us, we don't change them. What we can do, and this is what programming of stones truly is, and the most successful people working with stones recognize this. We're in allowance of what this stone is, that it has its own persona, its own consciousness. This selenite wand has a consciousness, just like I tap into the human collective. This taps into the collective of the selenite frequency. So this is connected to all the other selenite in the world in that respect as a collective consciousness. And it has many different properties and ways that it can impact us. We can call upon certain aspects and frequencies and ask, just like we ask Source to sometimes attune to certain frequencies in order to deeper imbue us with that vibrational energy and empower it within us. We can do the same thing with stones, and that's really what it is. When you come to a stone and you ask it with that kind of respect and that graciousness and that humbleness, rather than that state of I am going to program this to be at my command, right? Rather than that kind of a concept as you go into work with a stone, you're bringing an allowance and a recognition of what it is. So you're always saying whatever it is that you have to bring that will most support me at this time, or this work, or this creation, or whatever your focus may be. That's the best way to get a stone to support you. Now, this stone came to me, and it had its own ideas of what it was. And a powerful, beautiful woman picked it up, and she said, "Oh, whoa, this is the sword of truth. Like, this holds that sword of truth energy of Michael." And some people see that as a sphere. Some people see that as a sword. Forever forward, I see that as this selenite wand. So always, I keep this selenite wand with me. It's literally right next to me, usually about 3 to 4 inches away from me as I'm working, as I'm channeling, as I'm doing healing work. It travels with me often in a pouch, in my purse. It's something because I feel strongly that, well, one, that truth is really allowance, and two, that allowance is critical to this kind of work. So this is one of the things that supports me, and I feel like this is going to really be called forward. I want you guys to call forward your truth, as well as if you have selenite, pull it out. We can strengthen that connection of awareness. Selenite connects us to the moon, that reflective. It's extremely reflective, as you can see. It's kind of like a fiber optic kind of a stone. And I'll move on, but know that that's being worked with and used in this work right now that we're doing. So I can feel already that many of you have found your comfort and prepared your body, prepared your vessel for this work. Go ahead and feel those roots again, just taking that into awareness, pulling it in consciousness, bringing it forward, feeling that Gaia energy coming up through the body. I'm feeling like my root is vibrating very strong right now. So recognize we're also going to be pulling into this our Kundalini energy, activating that fire in the seat as we bring it up, that lava, liquid, flowing, the earth flow Up through the body as well. Allowing it to spiral through each chakra. This is why I love working with you guys. This is awesome. Up through the crown as it opens, even more greatly, yawning. Letting that light flow as it re-engages into that Kundalini. Down through the root system. Now I want you to call into focus your mirror of truth and reflection that symbolizes your relationship with the external, with the creation. Make an agreement with your mirror and with yourself on all expressions of you that you are ready to see your own reflection. That in this moment, at this time, you're releasing the external from holding the weight of your externalizations, and to show you that you want to see the very first thing that you're ready to receive and marble back within you. And allow that mirror to show you, whether it's a person, a situation, yourself. Allow it to be whatever it is. Maybe it's an animal that represents an aspect of your spirit that you have not incorporated. Because remember, to become the creator being in your life means you are all things within the creation. Perhaps it's a plant. I'm seeing grass. Maybe some of you feel trampled upon. Maybe you feel like all you do is feed the creation. Will you just lay there and get trampled upon? Ooh, ooh, that's a big one. Ooh. So let's look at this one. This is a perfect example of how to do this process of incorporation of the whole. Okay? So we all know what it feels like to be trampled upon, to be stood upon, to have to be the platform with which somebody else leaps off for your ideas, your beliefs, your thoughts, your inspirations, your creations to be taken by another and used as a platform for them to launch into greatness. We know the feeling to be left behind, to be wounded and bruised, to have our expressions broken. Let's call all of that up from the body. And you can continue this process on whichever it is that you have found in your mirror if it's something different and you don't feel inspired to follow this one. Call us all aspects from the vessel forward and from all of your expressions to come forward and come up to the surface and express themselves so that you can see them more clearly in this mirror. Show you all the times you've been trampled upon, all the times that you've stood and been wounded by another standing upon you. And as we do this and we see these pieces, don't judge what you think of yourself or of them. Just allow that judgment. Don't judge yourself for judging. That's it. Don't judge yourself for judging what you're feeling right now. So many times we block it by saying, oh, I wouldn't be a good person if I think that they're so mean and using me right now. Like, that's one of the ways that we protect the belief system that keeps us in a place where we're angry for people using us. Right? So release the part that's judging yourself for being in a state of judgment. This is what we're supposed to use judgment for. We're in a state of evaluation, examination, judgment. This is where judgment's healthy. Okay? So whatever judgments are coming up as you're being shown the people who've stood upon you, allow these judgments to flow through your mind. See those people as they start to show up in the mirror with the grass as they stand upon it. Let them hold the things they've taken from you in their arms, whether it's your ideas, your thoughts, your beliefs, your things, your money, your love, your relationship, your heart, pieces of you, whatever they hold. Have them hold all of it. Oh, some of them are going to be standing in a pile of what they've stolen because some of us have to learn our own value that much. So see them all with these things that they're holding, these pieces of you, these symbols that represent you. My cat just got on the dining table. He's so lucky I'm doing this broadcast right now. He is in my mirror. Oh, it's so dirty and gross. He has pooey paws and he's on my dining table. He's standing where I want my food to be clean because, like, what, I can't wipe and clean off my table. And he loves to be up there. He's creating work for me. Oh, they're making it work. They're making me work more. I have to do more because of this that they're doing. What other judgments are there? Bring them all up. Externalized judgments. And a phone call. Bring it all up. And what you're releasing from the body is the karmic debris attached to these things as we play with this internal and external system. We're allowed to externalize, guys. That's the whole point of the system. As we look at it, pull it out and look. And imagine that there's rain falling on all of that mirror, everything on that mirror, and all of the things that we believe they have stolen from us are being melted back, melted out of their arms as it drips down into our grass, filling the grass with all the nutrients, the support, the substance. All of it's going back into the earth as we feel that blue energy of the truth that nothing is taken from us. The external is us as well. It's just as much ours. See how the light is shifting? It's this blue energy coming through of truth as Archangel Michael helps us to come more whole into center and self. As we see our grass becoming lush, as we see the truth of our grass, that those blades that are on the external that are out there getting bent are actually just the smallest part of us, and that the truth of us is this underneath, the root system, the vibrant body of the grass that those little green shoots sprout up from, right? This is where we really are. And now we have all this nutrients coming into us. We're, I want to say nutrified, which is hilarious because it's not a word, but that's what keeps flowing through my head. So we're there in that space, and that's where we are. And we are able to compact as they stand upon us and support them, because that's part of our role in the creation. And we breathe as they come off and go into their other piece of the creation. As we become grateful that we're this grass. So grateful that we're able to have all these dark spaces and live in this darkness, live in this feeling of disconnection, yet be so flexible, right? Be the sustenance that creates the meat of life. That's what we feed, the meat. We support all things. Grass can grow and grow. It grows wherever the light shines and there's darkness to be eaten. Right? We're so grateful to serve in this boundary, in this space between the above and the below, in balance. Can you feel that gratitude as you let yourself be the grass? Let that gratitude wash through you as you know that even in this state of grass, being stood upon, you're in a sacred space. Even when the grass gets cut and opened, you're just revealing what's beneath it. And that grass is going to grow again. It's going to grow seeds, fullness. It's beautiful. Thick sod. Let's feel one with that. Let's own that collectively as healers, because let's face it, that's who's listening, that's who's watching, that's who's participating, are my fellow energy workers, light workers, energy magicians, whatever it is that you call yourself, shamans, medicine people, whatever you call yourself. That's who we are. We support the creation becoming great. That's our job. We do it in the quiet ways. We do it in the dark. When the light shines on us, we grow and show. But oftentimes we're working alone and in the dark, unseen, tromped upon. So we know what it is to hold, to grow, to recover. Grass is one of the first things to grow after a fire. It's one of those first things that comes in and reconditions the land, prepares it for the forest, for the trees. It's a very important part of that process. Grass is one of those first things that evolved from the mosses, grasses and ferns. It's fundamental in our creation. We're all related to it. Now I'm going to challenge you guys to continue this process each day, picking whatever it is that comes into your mirror, allowing your day to serve as this great big mirror, showing you as you walk through the day all you need to see so that you can become whole in your creation and take the creation to the next step, the next level. I'm going to throw one more thing in. This is something I wanted to talk about earlier, but got sidetracked from. I often beckon my students and to do this, so I'm going to ask you guys too. I would love it if you guys would start keeping a journal. And if you already keep a journal, I'm not asking you to keep another one. You can incorporate it into your current journaling program. But to keep a journal of your experiences as you do this work with Morning Oasis each day. So many of you are showing up on a daily basis now. It's amazing. Thank you. And it's awesome. And I want you to thank you for making this time. This is a lot of time to take out of your day, and you guys are doing it regularly. And if you're not doing it during the week, you're doing it on the weekends. I'm just blown away. Thank you. So this is a way to take this to the next step if you're one of those people and you're actually looking for, okay, I want to get even more serious. I want to take this even deeper. So start a journal of what you're doing. This is a great way to keep yourself on track, on target, what's happening. So for me, I have a Morning Oasis journal. And like, for instance, it's on my desk, it's open between each show. It's there with me, and I can take notes on, oh, I want to talk about this, and I want to talk about that. Oh, there's this thought about that, and oh, wait, there's this idea. This is something that's important. So I can track what's going through. So I know how I'm progressing. I have attention and focus. Also allowance for the space. So each day, as I start for tomorrow, I have a blank page. It's blank, it's open. This is my creation. And I start it that way. And my day then becomes about it, of what I'm doing, what's my work. My creation has intention and focus, and I'm incorporating my growth and development in whatever it is I'm doing throughout the day. And it doesn't have to be a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's not like you have to write a whole big paragraph journaling every aspect and experience. Sometimes you may choose to do that. I really like outline mode, where it's just notes here and there. It's this bit, it's that bit, it's this bit, it's that bit. So with this mirroring, allow yourself to use a little bit of that journaling, to look at these pieces, to look at these parts of yourself, and start seeing how differently you feel about them when you look back later. This will confirm your work for you, because when you first put something down and it's something upsetting and irritating and blah, 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 then you go, you do this work, you continue through it, and then you come back to it later and you read it and you're like, oh, wow, I have zero emotional charge around this issue. Oh, that feels really good. And maybe you never look at it again, and maybe you do, and you look again a year later and you're like, oh, that's awesome. That's not even there at all anymore for me. And sometimes journals disappear completely, like stuff just disappears from journals of mine because it's no longer part of my creation or reality at all. And if I really think hard about it, I can go, wait, didn't I have a... And then it'll start to remanifest. No, let it go. So don't feel like you have to go back and review journals either. Oftentimes I don't look back at my journals until I feel this need to. So just know that this process, it's for you to be guided down. These are my suggestions. It's a pretty open allowance system. If you never use the journal again other than one time, let it go. And that's it. I hope you have a wonderful day. I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to talk more about this kind of stuff. And yeah, if you would like to have a card pull, I've got one, Kathy, for tomorrow. Go ahead and put it either as a message to me or on the Morning Oasis show from today. I will be posting these. There's 2 of them, so I'm going to try to edit them for the YouTube channel. I'll be editing them for the YouTube channel so they're put together, which means it'll get up on YouTube later on tonight. But for here on Facebook, there'll be 2 separate videos for today. So thank you so much. I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. You're welcome.